Right now, as you watch this, one of the absolute favorites to win the entire World Cup is trapped inside an airport terminal, completely sleep-deprived, while their head coach is behind closed doors screaming at tournament officials. FIFA had for years to plan the logistics for a tournament across North America. But in the last 24 hours, their worst-case scenario just became reality live on day 3. The biggest disaster of this World Cup isn't happening on the pitch. It's a logistical failure so severe it is actively endangering the health of the players, ruining the integrity of the matches, and FIFA is desperately trying to keep the cameras away from it. Look at what just happened to Uruguay. Marcelo Bielsa's squad was stranded at a resort in Cancun because the airplane scheduled to take them to Florida for their opening match against Saudi Arabia didn't have the proper paperwork or clearance to fly into the United States. A two-time World Cup winning nation left waiting on a runway on the eve of their first match because of a bureaucratic airline permitting error. Legendary players were left waiting round on luggage, demanding answers, asking the one question FIFA hates the most: who is to blame for this? The core of the problem is simple. FIFA treated the United States, Canada, and Mexico like they were Qatar or Germany. They completely underestimated the brutal reality of American scale. We are talking about 104 matches spread across 16 stadiums in 3 massive countries, with distances exceeding 3,400 miles between venues. To put that into perspective, traveling from Vancouver to Miami is a longer flight than going from London to Cairo under FIFA's scheduling. Teams are expected to cross multiple time zones in a matter of 72 hours, completely shattering the players' circadian rhythms and recovery cycles. In normal international tournaments like the Euros, a team plays a match, gets on a luxury bus or a 20-minute domestic flight, and they are back at their base camp before midnight. Here, players are landing for their matches completely exhausted, coaches are furious, and the entire concept of a fair sporting competition is flying out the window. If one team gets to stay on the East Coast and another team is forced to fly 5.5 hours across the continent right before a knockout match, that isn't a test of football skill anymore. It is a test of who can survive the travel itinerary. And here is the kicker. While world-class athletes are dealing with delayed flights, commercial routing errors, and chaotic travel schedules, top FIFA officials are flying in luxury private transport, completely insulated from the mess they created. They built a system that prioritizes stadium revenue over basic human logistics, and the players are the ones paying the price. It gets worse when you look at the border infrastructure. FIFA assumed that because this is the World Cup, regular international laws would just bend to their will. But United States Customs and Border Protection does not care who you are, even if you are a global sports icon or an official referee. Right now, a massive travel ban affecting citizens from nearly 40 countries has turned the border into a logistical war zone. Portions of Iran's coaching and administrative staff were flat out denied visas, forcing the team to relocate their entire training base from Arizona to Tijuana, Mexico. Their coaching staff just lashed out in a press conference, calling his squad the most oppressed team the World Cup due to constant travel chaos and visa restrictions. Even FIFA's own hand-picked officials aren't safe. Somalian referee Omar Arden, selected by FIFA to officiate at the highest level, was denied entry into the United States due to unspecified vetting concerns and sent right back home before he could blow a single whistle. Imagine being a manager trying to prepare your team for a high-stakes match, but your medical staff, your tactical gear, or your tournament officials are locked behind a customs warehouse line because of a paperwork glitch. The travel nightmare isn't just hitting the squads, it is completely dismantling the fan experience. Hundreds of thousands of international supporters who saved up for years to witness this moment are arriving in America only to realize that getting between cities is an economic impossibility. Domestic flight prices have skyrocketed by 300%. The train infrastructure doesn't connect the host cities efficiently, and fans are missing games they paid a fortune for because of a travel schedule that makes absolutely zero sense. We are already seeing the consequences broadcast live to the world. Look at the empty seats cutting through the stadiums. FIFA announces crowds just shy of capacity, yet the cameras show entire tiers dotted with massive gaps. They try to explain it away with lines about fans standing in the concourses. But the truth is obvious. People literally cannot get to the stadiums behind the scenes. The locker rooms are reaching a breaking point. Managers are no longer holding back in their press conferences. The word being thrown around behind closed doors is unplayable. Coaches are furious because these insane travel demands are directly causing extreme player fatigue, which leads to early, preventable injuries on the pitch. When you force a human body to undergo that much altitude change and pressurized cabin time immediately following elite athletic exertion, the physical toll is massive. Lactic acid builds up, muscles tighten, and the risk of a tournament-ending tier skyrockets, brick by brick. All of this has built a massive wall of distrust in just the first 72 hours of the tournament. And it is an organization that asks for your absolute trust while doing everything in its power to lose it. When you have spent the entire build-up playing the role of the villain, maximizing corporate profits and cutting corners on the actual execution, you do not get to suddenly play the trustworthy narrator when things fall apart. This isn't just bad luck or a minor case of rotten timing. This is the direct result of an organization that spent years chasing massive stadium deals and high-paying host cities without giving a single thought to the actual human beings who have to play the game. The football itself is delivering the drama, the upsets, and the incredible moments we all want to see, but the governing body keeps stepping on its own tournament. So, let's be honest here. Is this just an unprecedented logistical oversight due to the massive, unavoidable scale of North America, or is FIFA actively ruining the greatest tournament on earth for profit? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one of them. Hit that like button if this video gave you the real story, and subscribe if you want World Cup coverage that actually keeps count of everything going wrong. Because at this rate, the collapse of this tournament is happening in slow motion.